How's everybody doing? I'll just give some people some time to hop on. I did not schedule this in advance, but I thought, I have a minute here. Let's jump on a live and see if anybody else jumps on too. I'm working on my half and half triangles wrap. Actually have a video that will probably be coming out maybe tomorrow or Thursday, just depending on what I'm doing, where I talk about this. I got a little bit behind, but I'm back up where I need to be now. So I have officially finished my first half, and I am now working on my second half, which is solid pale oats. So I'm very excited. Don't let all of these little ends distress you, because they're not real. They're already woven in. I just don't clip them until I have blocked my shawl. Because with the half and halves especially, it takes, since you're doing so many sessions on these, you don't sit down and knit one of these in a day or two or in a week. These are months and sometimes years. You're going to have tension differences throughout this. And blocking it's what's going to turn it from something that looks kind of to something that's really beautiful and nice. And so I always leave my tails. I weave them in as I go. I actually add my new yarn with about a 2 to 3 inch tail. I usually knit about 7 to 9 stitches or so with my old yarn and my new yarn, and then I cut off my old yarn, leaving 2 or 3 inch tail. So when I'm done, I'll block it, and then I'll just take my scissors and go through and snip all those off. So no fear, no fear. This is nothing that's going to cause any problems. But I was excited to show you guys that I am on my second half of my triangle, and this has come out so glorious. I wish I had a longer cord where I could really just fully extend this so that you guys could see it all. But my first half is done. So anybody else that's working on the half and half, knit along. If you want, you can post a picture of your progress in my community tab and share with us if you feel comfortable. You don't have to. Or anything you're making. I always love to look and see what people are making. So always feel free to post along pictures. Hi Donna, how are you doing? I hope you are well. Are we in love in this? Just got home from a knit group. Oh, well, that's fun. I wish I had a real life knit group. I mean, not that you guys aren't great, but it would be really neat to go in real life sometimes and see people in real life. But yeah, I would love if you guys want to share your progress on working on things, and you can always share in the community tab if you feel comfortable. Donna has shared some of her work before. I did not. We did have to go. We've been in the shelter once, and that was when you were doing your live. We had to go and get in the shelter for a little bit, and the tornado lifted before it got into our town. But it was still rotation as it was going over, so you have to be safe, and I would prefer to be in a shelter. I know we didn't grow up like that. We just would hide in our closet or something, but I don't know. I feel like these storms are getting worse, and the people in Enid, man, that tornado that just went through there was horrible. Yeah. It was scary. But do you feel like that the tornadoes have got, I mean, I know that there historically have been some pretty bad tornadoes, but I feel like they're just getting worse, more frequent. And we're fortunate because we get this, we get forewarned so much earlier. Enid, from where I live, it's north. It's probably an hour and a half north. It's not right by me, but they got hit bad. Was it last weekend maybe? We were being weather aware and watching the storms develop, and I was just watching the storm tracker guy live, and it was wild because he was saying this looks like it could turn into a tornado. And about the time he said that, this funnel dropped down, it went wide really quick, and then this secondary funnel dropped down. And I watched it. It started going around this little tornado. I can't remember what they called that. Oh, a satellite tornado. It just started going around and around. A satellite tornado is a smaller companion tornado that will cycle around a big tornado. And I've seen twins. I think I've even seen triplets where there's been like two together and then one a little ways, but I had never seen a satellite tornado before. And to watch it actually happening live on TV while we were staying weather aware was crazy. I'm gonna open my chat on my phone because it disappears off the screen so quick. And that way I know I'm not missing everything. Give me just a moment. All right. Look at this. And I gotta mute it. Look at this. And I gotta mute it. There we go. And now I will get the chat pulled up. Where's the chat? Give it to me. All right. Max velocity on for hours. Yeah, I feel like we're just living with all of the weather channels going all the time. Hi, welcome in, Samantha. I am working on my half and half triangles wrap. I was very excited. I tried to hold it up. I'll show you. I finished my first half. So the first half of mine is all my leftover yarns that I had from a mini kit. And then I just started my second half, and I'm just going to do the second half in just this solid cream color. So we can have things loud and proud, or we can have them low key. So that is where we are at. Thank you. Now you're working on a cape, Donna. My God. You know what? That's okay. That's part of what my next video is going to be about. Is I was thinking about it. We get excited, and sometimes we sign up for these knit-alongs, or we say we're going to join in on something, and we get really passionate about it, and then we get behind, and I think that can put like a level of stress on some people or make them feel like they're failing in some way. But I think it's super important that we all remember that knit-alongs are for community. They are not contracts. You're not obligated to do anything. It's just a way to engage and have fun. So I have to remind myself of things like that sometimes because, especially, with my most recent situation of leaving my job, I was inspired by a sample at my little yarn shop, so I cast on Saturday. Well, I'll have to look and see. Have you posted up a video about it yet, Donna? Showing it? I saw that you finished your pebbles in a creek or in a stream, or your little shawlette. Your bauble one, I saw you got that done. Not yet. Okay. Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing it. What about the lacy knit along that you were doing? Have you gotten that Any further? Oh, you finished that one. I didn't see that one. I must have missed it. Or did you post a video about it? I don't know. It's been crazy. There is nothing more stressful to me than the month of May. Oh, it's in timeout. Okay. You finished the Pebbles and the Creek one, and the other one's in timeout. Okay. Um, I don't know if it's, I thought once I did not have kids anymore that were going to school and stuff, and I still have kids, they're just grown. Um, I thought, oh, I won't have to worry about summers because you're not worrying about school and trying to do everything only in the summer because school's out for vacation. It didn't change anything. Nothing has changed. May is still hideous. Every single weekend, we looked at the calendar. We have things planned. I'm not one of those people that really likes that. First of all, I don't like to plan anything because sometimes I'll get excited and I'll plan things, but then when it gets close to time, I am definitely one of those people that's just like, oh, why did I do this? I'm a very extroverted introvert. People think I'm so friendly and outgoing because when I am somewhere amongst lots of people, I enjoy them and I am never shy. And if you throw me in a room, I'm going to talk to everybody. And if people are just sitting around not talking, I'm just going to start introducing each other. I mean, we're going to all be friends. But it really drains me, and I don't really like going around a lot of people. So to know that every single weekend we are going and running and doing is very. I'm already tired with it. We've got Mother's Day. We've got several different things we have to do for Mother's Day. We've got um, we're taking my husband's parents to the Renaissance Fair. And my husband accidentally, he thought he was buying tickets to the feast. They have a feast on one of the weekends. This is at the castle in Muskogee. It's a really nice Renaissance fair. And for 15 years, I mean, I didn't miss. I haven't actually been in the last couple of years. So we decided we would go do it. And anyway, he thought he was buying tickets to the feast. Um, but he did not buy tickets to the feast. He was like, oh, I'm going to do one of the different feasts. I already bought the tickets. I'm like, what different feast? They only have one feast. And he's like, no, they had several. I said, no, they don't. And then he told me what he got. And I said, well, Kyle, he bought tickets to the Khalid, which is a Scottish party night that is drinking and dancing and music, which is great because none of us drink. I guess we'll just dance and listen to music and eat some snacks. I do believe they've got some. It's like a pub party, you know. He didn't realize it, so we're gonna go to the Scottish pub party and listen to fun Celtic music and dance with a bunch of people that have been drinking too much, probably. So I'm sure his mom and dad will love it. It's gonna be great, great, great. So that's one of the things we have to do. But anyway, I am looking forward to June though. June is going to be a nicer. It'll be hot because it's Oklahoma, but I am going to get my little nephew to come down. I wouldn't like that. Well, we're going to make the best of it because the tickets are non-refundable. So I don't mind. I like the Celtic music. That's fun. I'm just not sure how rowdy these people are going to be that are there. I think they'll be okay. We really like going up there. They do a really good job of keeping everything really nice, and it's really big, and it's not just I think it's because it's a permanent structure at the castle in Muskogee. Quiet time. Well, you would not want to go to the Khalid, but you might still enjoy the Renaissance Fair. They often have it's so spread out up there at the castle because they have acres and acres and acres of land, and it's like an entire village town, and there's so many different areas. But one of the fun places that I like is there's one little area. It's the Italian village. Um, it's the Italian village, and there is a little area there where there are some ladies that set up their spinning wheels, and they sit and they knit, and sometimes they have fiber for sale and stuff like that. So that's a very peaceful little area of the Renaissance Fair that you can just go, and if you want to take your stuff, you can do that. But the reason why I'm excited about June is because um, my little nephew is going to come and visit with me, and I miss him terribly because he's precious. Um, my my brother and his wife were getting on around getting close to 40, and we didn't think they were going to have kids. She didn't think she could have kids. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Um, anyways, we didn't think that they were going to have kids. She had been told she couldn't have children. But in 2014, she got pregnant. And, or I guess actually in 2013, she got pregnant. He was born in May. But anyway, he is a darling little person. And unfortunately, he lost his mama and his daddy. So he is just a very special little guy. He's got such a good nature about him. He's fixing to turn 12 years old, which I can't believe it. But he's just smart as anything. He's one of those unique little, what were we calling them? Indigo kids, indigo children. Crazy, oddly genius, smart. Um, I don't know. There's a bunch of these little kids right now that are just really interesting, but he is so in tune to people's emotions. And well, after my brother died, a couple of years after my brother passed away first, and so it was just him and his mama, and she ended up uh, marrying another gentleman who is we just all adore. He's so kind, and he was actually friends with my brother in real life. They did a lot of business partner stuff. But a couple of years after my brother passed away, Megan had found out that she had cancer, and this gentleman stepped up, and he was just so supportive to her, and he has just loved Dylan. And so it was her wish that when she passed, because her diagnosis did not go in the way that we would have hoped, and she did a lot of therapies and treatments, but in the end she had discussed it with her parents and her brother and with all of us, and it was her wish that Dylan stay with Willie because he felt that he was a good father figure, and he has been just an amazing blessing. So they live close to my mom, so my mom gets to spend lots of time with him. But they're in Arkansas, so I don't get to spend enough time. And since I'm not working, I already asked if Dylan could come and stay with me for at least a week. And he's gonna come down here, so we've got to plan some fun things to do. So, and I know it's going to be grossly hot. Yeah, everything happens interestingly, and not always the way we want it to, but it seems to work out, doesn't it? Um, but so I'm excited for June because I'm gonna have my little partner here, and we're gonna go have some adventures. So, and I'm not worrying about running around driving 2,000 miles a week this year since I'm not working because I did home health care. Well, I didn't do home health care. I worked for a DME company, which is direct medical equipment. And I'm a respiratory therapist, and I had a bunch of patients, anywhere from 50 to I think I had as many as like 85 at one point. patients that I took care of in a very huge uh, territory that were on home ventilators. So that was what I was doing. And so I was driving sometimes a couple of thousand miles in a week to check on everybody. And I don't have to worry about that, which is wonderful because living in Oklahoma and doing all that, especially like in May, and May's pretty terrible because I was in all the rural areas and I might be out and all of a sudden tornadoes are popping up and I don't know because I don't have service. It was terrible. It was real scary. And you can't not go and see your patients because of inclement weather. That's the part that I did not like at all. If somebody's ventilator breaks, they need you. You got to go take care of that. And I've driven through blizzards. I've driven where I guess a tornado was touching down right in front of where I was fixing to go because I come up over a hill and I've got power lines and trees. And I'm like, oh, I guess the tornado just went through ahead of me. I didn't even know it. I do. I prefer it. I prefer it. Um, but, I'm blessed I don't have to do that this year, so I can always find something to be blessed about. It'll be hot outside, but I won't be out in it. I'm going to be inside in the air conditioning with these little cats. Hi, Luna. Do you want to say hello? Come here. Come here and turn around. Oh. Did anybody see my last video? I showed the new foster baby kittens. Just a quick snippet of them. We've got a mama. You saw them. They're so sweet. Oh my goodness gracious. So this mama, she was a stray that showed up on somebody's porch and she had a litter of babies. And so Safe Haven, and that's the organization that I volunteer for, had posted up to all the volunteers that there was a family in need. And my daughter actually lives right behind me. And she currently does not have any animals, and she thought, well, I can foster them for a little while. And the way that it works with Safe Haven is you foster the animals, they take care of the they take care of the they're not, I don't have them here, Donna. They take care of all of the vetting and medications, and they try to help with the food and stuff. And then they pay to have them fixed and vaccinated. And when they're big enough, and in order of, they try to keep the cycle moving. So once you're on the list, when it finally comes up and all of your things have been done, as far as being spayed, neutered, all of the vaccines and all of that, once your name comes up, then they get to go to PetSmart. So when they're in a litter like this, they all go together. They're not going to take one kitten at a time or something, because that would be very traumatic on them. But it'll be a little while because these guys are 2 weeks old now. So it's been all fun and games because as soon as my daughter agreed to take them, she got hired at a new job that's like 75 miles away from our house. And because gas is so expensive, as opposed to driving there and driving back each day, they have her work 3 consecutive shifts in a row. So she just drives down there, stays with a friend, and then comes back after she's worked her 3 days in a row. So guess what I've been doing? 3 times a day. Going down and spending time with the mama and giving her lots of loving because she's so sweet. And then, of course, there's not much to do with the babies. The babies, they just be babies. That is the one nice thing when you have babies that have mamas. Babies by themselves, that's hard. That's a lot of work. Those little babies, if they're newborn, 2 weeks old, boy, they got to eat like every 3 hours around the clock. It's a lot. And newborns, and you've got to keep their temperature regulated because they can't do it themselves and they can't go to the bathroom. Luckily, we got a mama, so all I have to do is take care of the mama. Mama takes care of the babies. But 2 or 3 of the little babies, their eyes just opened, like, I don't know, a few days back, 4 or 5 days maybe max. Their eyes opened. Like I said, they're just now 2 weeks old. And 3 of them, one of their eyes was not opening all the way. And I was like, well, let's keep an eye on this. And then I noticed that they were looking irritated. And so I had to start giving them their terramycin eye ointment. So I do have to do that for them 3 times a day. I just do it when I go over and see them. And I weigh them every evening and write down their weights. And that's pretty much all they need from me. Other than that, I'm loving up that mama and keeping her litter and her food. And she's getting so many. She gets wet food. She gets dry food. She gets treats because she's feeding 6 babies and she needs all the calories. So, she's so sweet. We've named her Priscilla, and I call her Miss Pris. We haven't named the babies yet because we don't know who's a boy and who's a girl yet. But my daughter, we've always done themes. Always. Every litter kittens that I've ever fostered have been named thematically, and I am the one that recommended Priscilla for the mama. I don't know why. She just looked like a Priscilla to me. And it's a very interesting dynamic. You would not think it would be this way. But fosters, cats that have real people names, get adopted more, faster, I guess. More often. They're adopted faster than cats with fantasy pet type names. So George usually gets adopted before Shadow. I don't know why. But anyways, she looked like a Priscilla. And then I was like, what would you think about naming all of these babies after famous celebrities or singers, actresses, whatever? Like we could have a little Elvis and maybe a little Johnny and June. And yeah, did they get picked like that? I don't know why. Jessica the cat will get adopted before, you know, Pixie. I don't know why. But anyways, I thought it would be fun. I said, "What do you think about that? We could name them after all the little Dolly and I don't know." But she thought it sounded adorable to have a whole little group of little historical celebrity name cats. So once we see who's what, we might have some different little kitty cats named all kinds of. Like I say, we got to have an Elvis for sure if there's any boys. And Johnny and June would be cute. And I do like Dolly. And there's just a lot. I can think of a lot of things we could do there. So we'll see how that goes. Brady Bunch stars. Oh, there will probably be a Brady Bunch group. Um, I'm waiting for like a whole family, a mama and a daddy cat. I never get those. That would be funny. I've had all kinds of them. My last group were all flowers or plants. They were flowers. Mama Rosie, who I adopted myself, and then I had Tiger Lily, Buttercup, Lavender, Sage, and Tulip. And then I've had a group after Harry Potter. I've had a group named after Celtic trees. I had a rowan, ash, holly. Man, we had the Dracula cats. They called them the Dracula cats they were 3 little kittens I got in October. And I love Halloween. But I named them after Bram Stoker's. I had Renfield, Wilhelmina, which is Mina, and Lucy. and I have Lucy. I ended up adopting her. So, I don't know. We always name them after some kind of theme. So that's our deal. Oh goodness. But I do have a group of, you were saying I said no more babies. I do have to take breaks in between my babies because, man, once they get bigger, they get rowdy. They can sure make some mess. And my cats, they got to have a break in between. Um, they start to get a little jealous, and I can't just, they got to have their breaks too. So, but there was a mama outside. I had mentioned it in some of my prior videos. I have a little mama that's been coming and going. She is slightly feral. She's become less feral than she was, but I wouldn't go out there and try to pick her up. I'd get hurt. But she had had her babies on my porch on Easter Sunday, and then she ended up moving them to my neighbor's shed where they're very safe. So I was glad that she took them someplace sensible. But I've been waiting. I've been biding my time, and next Sunday. How funny. I'm sorry, Goober. I think she's out of view, right? So maybe he can be okay. But I can't promise nobody else is going to walk through. Um, Anyways, this Sunday they're going to be 5 weeks old. And I have left everybody alone in the hopes that she doesn't move them off anywhere else. But I thought once they hit about the 5 week mark, 5 week old kittens aren't bad because you don't really have to bottle feed them. You can give them slurry. Is there, oh, Rosie. Rosie's in the window. I didn't see her back there. Sorry. Sorry, Goober. Um, anyway, once they hit 5 weeks old, you can give them slurry. So you can just take wet kitten food, like pate, and mix in the milk replacer, the kitten milk replacer, and you just make it into a slurry, and they'll just lap it up off of a plate, which is a lot easier than trying to bottle feed babies, especially that age. They're not keen to take to a bottle if they've been nursing. But anyways, 5 weeks. I thought if I could get up, if I could let her take care of them for 5 weeks, then I could, probably take over. What did I just do? I messed up something. This is what happens when I'm talking too much. Oh, okay, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, they're just so precious. I love them. And some of my cats that I'm the most bonded with are are the ones that I had. Well, I say that. Friend is the exception. Friend came to me, an old street dude, and he's the most bonded cat I have. But other than him, the second most bonded cat that I have is Salem, and you may see him sometimes. He comes through. He's a solid black cat, and he is a bobtail. Gosh, um, he was 10 days old when his mom basically just abandoned him. Did not even, he was not being a normal 10-day-old cat. He kept leaving the nest where she was trying to keep her kittens and getting into shenanigans. He was just well advanced, and she was a local feral mama. I say she was a feral. She lived with the ferals, but she was very affectionate. And after him, she trusted me enough. I was able to take her, I got her fixed. She got adopted. She actually ended up fostering some kittens whose mama died before she got adopted. So while she was with the rescue, there was a group of kittens that came in, and she nursed all them and got them all healthy, and they all got adopted, and then she got to get fixed and go live her best life somewhere. So we were very happy about that. But he was 10 days old, and so he had to have it all. he was baby. And he is very, always say he's my soulmate cat. Him and I are like two peas in a pod. And he's my grand cat because at that time, that was in 2020 when that happened. And I was working, but everybody else in my household was home. And my daughter is the one that really took the full brunt of taking care of him. But as much as he does love her and she is his mother, he loves me the most. He's most bonded with me. Anyway, so that's what's going on with all the cats. That only took 35 minutes. That's what's happening in our cat life. But I'm going to see if I can, I don't know if I'll be able to get those ones out of that shed or not. Ideally, I'll go over there this weekend with my carrier. They're probably wild as March hares. They've not had any human interaction. And I hope the mama doesn't like attack me or something. She's very keen on watching what I'm doing. She doesn't stay in that shed with them. She comes over to my house and I feed her, and she goes to my neighbors. But if she sees me go anywhere near where that shed's located, she's hot on it. She's right there. Like, where are you going? So we'll see if I can snag them. If I can snag them, I'm going to bring them in and I'll foster them. And we'll get them fixed, and we will put an end to that little cycle right there. And the best case scenario would be if I could get that mama in a carrier and take her and get her TNR'd the same day. Don't want to do it while she's nursing, but if I can get those kittens, we could get her fixed up, and she just does not need to be having any more babies. We just can't have it. It's too terrible. I hope so. There's a lot of little stray cats out here that I would love to just capture and get them fixed, because as cute as kittens are, it's terrible. These cats out here, they die, they get hurt, they get sick, they're neglected, they're scared, they live very sad lives, they don't live very long. None of these stray cats live more than a few years. The males destroy each other. And like I said, most of the kittens get sick. They get upper respiratory infections. They get feline, basically AIDS from fighting. And they're just, it's a sad life for them out there. And they just can breed so quickly. A lot of people don't realize that they can have kittens. They can get pregnant when they're like 6 months old. So even if we can only get them TNR'd and released back out, at least we don't have to worry about them having more babies. You've just finished your work. Good. No one wants to do that. I hope you've got something to occupy yourself. You got some knitting to do? Welcome, Susan. Where are you guys located? I know Donna's in Kansas, right? Or Missouri. I always mix that up because I think Kansas City, Missouri, and they're just right there. Oh, let's see. Missouri. Okay. See, as soon as I said Kansas, I was like, that's wrong. That's wrong. Okay. Oh, good. You've got your crochet project. I've got a few crochet projects, and you're in the UK. Well, we're so happy that you're here, Susan. We are just relaxing. It's very overcast and cloudy and stormy looking here in Oklahoma today. It's my favorite kind of weather. I would like it to just be overcast. I walked outside earlier. We have a cold front moving in because it's been in the 80s. And then we'll have a cold front move and drop us down in the 50s. But I walked outside earlier and I was like, whatever this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. Cold and rain where you're at. And so I pulled out my weather app so I could see, because I just wanted to document this to know it was my perfect. Probably. Although, is it not always? I have this idea that it's always like rainy and beautiful in the UK. Just cool and nice, not 110 degrees and sunny bacon desert like it is in Oklahoma. But I walked outside and it was very overcast. So that's number one. I like that because I don't like the sun shining right in my eyeballs. Um, and there was a nice breeze. And I looked and it said it was 73 and that it felt like 73. And with the wind, I have on my little sweater vest. It was perfect because I, oh yes, I do make chili. I love chili. Um, because I like to knit and crochet and weave, and I want to be able to wear this stuff. So that was perfect. Having a nice cool breeze. I don't like to be cold. I don't want it to be freezing, but I say anything in the 50s to 70s makes me smile. Oh, you'll have to tell me. You'll have to post up the recipe so we can try it. I do love chili, and I'm so proud of me. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to post it up on my next, well, maybe not my next video, but on one of my upcoming videos, my real videos. I will post my glorious, beautiful, amazing sourdough. I have finally got it. I've got it, y'all. I am on a roll, and it's looking so good, and the bread, everything's perfect, and it's the easiest thing. No complication. I think I was killing myself with sourdough because I thought, I don't know, you get so many people saying you have to do this, you have to do that. And I'm going to say sourdough is probably a lot like knitting or any fiber arts or probably just about anything. There is no have to. I have learned that you don't have to do what somebody else does. It can be different for different people. And I finally figured it out for me, and I'm just so happy. And it's not complicated. I've also been doing 6 gun chili. I feel like no, I'm thinking of something alarm chili. 5 alarm. 6 gun. Okay. I don't know, Donna. I don't think you told me a method. I can't remember you telling me a method. I had just watched like 8,000 different people on YouTube, and I kept trying different things, and either it was overly complicated and I was going through I was like, I'm feeding this every day, and that kind of, I don't do that. That don't work for me. I'm going to forget. What I've learned is that it's really hard to kill a sourdough, at least in my environment. I do not feed my dough every day. I do not proof. I don't do a lot of things that people are doing. I found this one guy that they make sourdough for their family and they sell it in their community, and his method was real easy, and I thought, you know what? I failed at everything. Let's just try his very easy method, which is cold starter out of the darn. Um, he takes his cold starter out of the cold unfed starter out of the refrigerator. He measures his ingredients in the bowl, makes a shaggy dough, goes to bed, covers it, goes to bed. The next morning he wakes up, it's risen, it's looking all incorporated. He does some folds a little bit, gets it loaf shape, covers it, lets it set a few hours, throws it in the oven. It's glorious. It's glorious. And that's when I will feed my starter if I need. If I don't have enough to make my next batch, that's when I'll feed my starter. Is that day while my other bread is making. And once it's doubled, I throw it back in the refrigerator until I need it the next week. I know that doesn't work for everybody, but it's working great for me. And I mean, it's a little bit. It's not. I mean, he was calling it 10-minute sourdough, and he's not wrong. You're not really spending more than about 10 minutes messing with it. Bob's Red Meal. I've been using I was using the, what is it, King Arthur bread flour, and that was working fine. Um, and then I did this last time get the, because everything is going up in price so much, I did decide to go on and try with the Great Value bread flour, and I cannot tell a difference. It isn't hard at all. You're right, Donna. It just takes patience. You just have to nail it down. And like I say, I'm sure it's one of those things that the environment is probably going to play into it, because if you have a very warm area, you're going to obviously have to adjust your times different than someone who has a real cold area or what have you. I just kind of look at it. It's got the higher gluten in it. And you know, when I was getting just making regular bread before I became gluten intolerant, I actually would purchase wheat gluten, which is the protein in wheat, separately and add extra in to my regular bread, not sourdough. And I loved it because that's what gives it the chewiness. Um, and that was what I was really missing with gluten free bread. Ugh, I hated it. I hated it. Gluten free bread is just not my favorite. But once I discovered that I could do fermented breads, sourdough, because it does change the structure of the gluten molecule. And I'm not celiac. I just have Hashimoto's, so I just have a gluten sensitivity. Once that is changed, once the goes through the fermentation process, it changes it, and I can eat the sourdough. So it's great. So we can chat sourdough. There we go. Yeah. Let me know. You can, I don't know. You have to send my email. I'll have to check my email. I'm so terrible with my email. Gosh, my husband, he almost has a heart attack when he saw my email. I don't delete anything. I don't even open most of the stuff in there. I just kind of go to it every few days and kind of scroll through the dark black parts, which are the ones that haven't been opened yet, and see if there's a name I recognize. And then I click on it. But I don't open all of them. I knew you had your little mascot of your little bread mascot guy. And you used to sell it at the farmers markets, didn't you? And that's how I actually got started back on the sourdough. Is one of the ladies at our local market, I started buying her sourdough bread. And she was trying to teach me how to do it, but she does a lot of stuff that I'm just like, oh no, I can't do all that. That's too much for me. Oh, Etsy store too. Okay. I never even thought about Etsy store for sourdough. Huh. I was thinking about one of the things that I have been doing. I think I'm going to do some here in just a little bit. Um, Once I got started on the sourdough, I kind of started playing with some of the other things that I enjoyed. One of which is, I'll post it. I'm going to put it in my, I'll put it on my community. I'll put it on my channel description. It's just, I don't have a problem with that. I thought it was there. How did you get it the last time? Is it not listed on my channel? I don't know. I'll check, and if I don't see it, I'll make sure it's there. Um, Anyways, one of the other things that I have enjoyed doing is doing other fermented type foods. So I used to make a lot of different things. These little jays crack me up. We've got these little blue jays out here. They're so cute, first of all, but they are very territorial. They can kind of get grouchy with the other birds, but I feed the outdoor cats, and they love cat food. They come down and they think they're being sneaky, and they get a cat food, and then they fly back up in the tree and eat, and then they come back down. Anyways, I'd made two failed batches, and I think I know what I did wrong because I never had a failed batch of this before, but I loved making it. But the El Ruderai yogurt, oh, I love it. Um, so I'm going to probably get that going again. I might do that later today. Make another batch. I think I know what I did wrong. Um, and then I have completed, I've already got this in the fridge now, but I had made myself some sauerkraut, and I love homemade sauerkraut. Yes, now Laura does add olive oil to hers. I haven't added olive oil yet, so I'll try that just to see. And I do have good olive oil. Um, but anyway, so I have made some sauerkraut. That's already done, and I'm working on that. And then I want to, and I got them yesterday at the grocery store. I purchased some organic apples specifically because I want to make. I had never considered making fermented fruits. It sounded weird to me. I mean, outside of making wine, and I can't drink. I have a terrible alcohol sensitivity. Um, hadn't even heard about fruits, but somebody had posted when I was looking at different idea fermentation videos and stuff. Someone had posted up their lactobacillus blueberries, and I was like, what? So I had to try it, and I love them. Oh my gosh, they only take 2 or 3 days to make, and they are so interesting because you still ferment like you ferment like you ferment, which is generally you're using a 2 to 3% salt solution. It's pretty much it. Um, but I had some organic blueberries, and I just threw them in a jar. I weighed them. I put in about, I think I did 2.5% salt, water. Actually, I didn't even put water because I had airproof. I had an airproof, and I knew that the blueberries were going to make a lot of juice, and they do. So, anyways, put it in the airtight container, and then in the morning and in the evening, I would just pop it and then reclose it again because it can start to build up some pressure. But you don't let them ferment like a whole bunch. You're just going to give them like 2 or 3 days on the countertop, enough to get fermented and enough to have really good, gut cooties. That's the whole purpose, right? Well, I mean, I think the initial purpose was to preserve food for long times when you didn't have refrigeration. Nowadays, because we have refrigeration, we don't eat these foods anymore, and most people have gut problems. So they're so good. I love the fermented blueberries, and then they're like sweet and sour and salty all at the same time, a little bit of everything. And I put them with some Greek yogurt, and then I drizzled some raw honey. Oh my gosh. We have a couple of different colonies of bees local that they sell their honey, and it's awesome. Have you done the pattern for the mini skein scarf yet? Oh, I didn't. Yes, I know what you're talking about. No, I'm a horrible, awful human who said I was going to do that, and then I never did. I should just write it down. It's very simple. Here's my thing is I was so excited and I wanted to share that with you guys. And then I realized very quickly that unless I purchase something, I'm not going to be able to film a tutorial style video because I film off of my iPad, and I have it on a little tripod, but it's not flexible. It does not move. I have no way to do this. All right, Donna. Um, so what I need to do is get that scarf out and then just give you, it's not hard. It's really a matter of just making sure you do the proper increase on the edges to get that very long, shallow. Because, if you just do a regular increase on the three corners, you're going to get a very triangular shape, and you're not going to have enough to wrap. So the key with that mini skein one is getting your increases done a particular way where you're getting more increases on the edge than you are at the bottom corner, so that you can get that length with using the tiny bit of yarn. So it took me a little bit, but I got it, and it's nothing hard. So I will try to make it a priority to do that. I cannot believe I totally forgot all about that. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, Susan. Life keeps doing that lifing thing. I don't know if that happens to you too or not. I just get caught up. But yesterday's video was a departure for me. I really decided that if I was going to do this. Oh, thank you. You're very sweet. Yes, I'm sorry that I dropped the ball on it. I just forgot all about it. But yesterday, I didn't start this channel to be, fancy or to try to influence people or anything. I just wanted to share what I was doing and what have you. And I was very content to just use the excuse of, I don't know how to do any of that, so y'all are just going to get this plain Jane, me in my pajamas always. And that does serve a purpose. I think that's fine. But now that I'm not working all the time, I thought to myself, self, you could do a little better. And we're living in a crazy world. And I'm not going to go into politics or religions or any of those things on this channel. But I think we can all agree that it's been kind of crazy lately. And I think it's just so nice to be able, it's hard on YouTube, I find. I'll click on something and I get really excited because I think it's just going to be a happy thing. And then it turns into a rant, or I think a lot of people are just so happy to complain, even like it's a sport. And that's fine. Everybody gets to do what they want, especially on their own channel. But I want to really focus on just, not because I'm blinding myself or ignoring anything, but I want to come and just talk about yarn and having fun and beauty, because that's part of why I quit my job. I was just so stressed out and upset all the time. So I've really been trying to find the little things in life that make me happy. And so yesterday's video was me just kind of showing a little bit of the things. Oh, thank you. No, that's wonderful. I'm glad you found something of value, Susan. Um, but yeah, I really want to just take a little bit more time. I can put in screenshots. I've learned this about myself, and I do have the ability to not just do this format. I like this format though, because that's the other thing I am finding that I am not loving on YouTube lately is I'm not saying that I am anti AI, everything, losing my mind about it. But I really dislike a lot of these channels that I will click on and I think that it's something real. And then I realize it's not real. It's not a real person. There were I like watching those wisdom type videos. And there was this video, and I was just like, are you kidding me? It was like this 105-year-old lady or something talking about, what was the secret to her life or whatever. And I was like, oh, that sounds so wholesome. I want to know what that is. And so I clicked on it and I was like, this looks too good. And I'm like, this is not real. This is not real. And, they do have to disclose, or they're supposed to disclose this information. But they do it in such a way that you really have to work hard to find it. So I got in there and I dug through their channel and their description, and lo and behold, at the very bottom, it was like, these are not real people. They are AI generated. These stories are not these are fictitious stories created to inspire or whatever. And that in and of itself is fine, I suppose. But it's done in such a tricksy way. So I don't mind this. This is fine because I don't think anybody's going to come on my channel and think, oh, that lady's not real. She's AI. It's all real here, folks. Can't you tell? Um, but I'm finding a lot of value in just our knitting community videos of where, whoever it is, they're sitting in their shop or in their living room because I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I don't have to question if this is, am I being, number one, am I being just completely deceived? What? I'm sorry, this is bugging me, what I'm seeing in my screen. Am I being completely deceived? Is this not even real? Or what am I being sold? Everything's almost always trying to sell me something. So I don't intend to get rid of my face to face, even if I just keep them more for lives. But I do want to start putting in a little bit more, um, a little bit, I don't know, I guess just having it look a little bit more professional, adding a little bit more beauty and creativity. That's what yesterday was for me, for my video that I did yesterday. I felt creative. I just wanted to just film throughout my morning all the little different things that was going on for me. Um, but I still like knitting chats, so I intend to do mixes of things on my channel. Kind of cover all my bases, right? Get that creativity spark fed, and then be able to just be part of the community and share things too without having to worry about everything being perfect. Because I'm one of those people, I don't know if you're like this, but I do suffer from analysis paralysis. I will want to do something and then I'll think, I can't do it because if I was going to do it, I would have to do this and that, and everything would have to be perfect, and I don't have time for perfect, so we might as well not do it at all. And that kept me from starting a YouTube channel for a really long time. So no eggs. You're just going to save it, save room for later. I'm making, I don't know why, but I want some air fryer crispy chicken. That's what I want. I have been craving chicken. So I think that's what I'm going to make later. I don't know about you guys, but boy, ugh, we have just ate so awful lately. I mean, just not like fast food and stuff like that, but just so much rich desserts and then also some junk food too. I have had chips and dip for several days in a row. But I've got all this stuff and I'm like, I have got to get rid of these items and get back on eating. I don't really have a diet per se. My diet advice to myself is let's try to make sure at least 90 to 95% of what we eat is a real food item, not a processed, ready made, whatever. So I will eat carbohydrates, I will eat anything. I try to keep grains lower because I don't do great with grains. But if it's like meat or a fruit or a vegetable or whatever, then it's on my okay list. If it's a, you know, biscuit or a cracker or a cookie or something out of a package in a store with a bunch of chemicals, that's on the, let's keep that in the 5% range or whatever. But we've been having a lot of treats and stuff. This past weekend in Prague, oh boy. Oh, this one's Pixie. You can tell, which you can't tell now, Salem doesn't have a tail. So if you see a tail, then it's one of the other black cats. This one's Lucy. Um, how funny. Um, this past weekend was the Kolache Festival. So that's in Prague, Oklahoma, and they have it every year because it's a Czechoslovakian founded town. So we had to go for the kolache festival and eat all the food truck food. So that was not the healthiest of days. Although I don't drink pop usually, or soda, or whatever people call it in the different parts of the world. I call it everything is a pop here for me. Um, but since we were treating ourselves, um, there was this Getting Fizzy with It. That was the name of the vendor, Getting Fizzy with It. And it was all specialty sodas, and they were all named after different like pop songs and stuff. And they had them listed by the type of soda and then what add-ins they had. So my husband had a No Diggity, which was a Dr. Pepper with like vanilla cream and caramel and whatever. And then I had one called She's So High, which was sun-kissed with marshmallow fluff and strawberry syrup. And that was so delicious. It was like drinking an orange cream pop. I don't know. It was so good. So that was just like my breakfast for kolache. It was this sugar bomb. And that's where it started. And I'll tell you, it only got worse from there. Though I did have some really good brats and sauerkraut and like more like sausages, like a sausage skillet, all Czechoslovakian style stuff. And that was really good. Um, that was probably the only healthy ish thing that I ate. Everything else was really bad. Really bad for me. So, but it was fun. And apparently, it was just enough walking around and eating all manner of awful foods all day long for like 7 hours that I fell asleep at 8 o'clock at night, got up the next day at like 6:30, and then decided I needed a nap again at like 8:30, and then slept until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It just it sucked the life out of me. I'm like, what is wrong with me that one day, it's not like I was doing anything, just walking around, but woo, it was a little warm. It was like 80. Actually, it was only in the 70s, but it was bright sunny, so it felt hotter than it was if you were out in the open. We were almost the whole time. Um, People were getting sunburn and everything, so. But I am like, ooh, I don't know what we're going to do. That's why this summer is going to be indoor activities for me because I don't like to have the life sucked out of me. I felt like I had been drained. It took all of Sunday just to recover. 3 packets inside. So it's kind of like the 5 alarm chili kits that you can buy. That's what it sounds like. It's similar because they have all the individual packets, but it's called 6 Gun. They have it at Walmart. I shop at Aldi's, and then what I can't get at Aldi's, I run to Walmart. I guess. What do you have in your neck of the woods, Donna? Where do you shop at? Probably Walmart. Okay. I'll look it up. I'll look and see. That sounds good. And if it's easy, I'm all about it because I love easy. But yes, if you stick around this channel for a little while, you'll find that I'm a big weirdo. I think last year, or maybe it was the year before. I think it was the year before. I can't remember if I made a video or not. Oh, I got you. Well, that's nice. Um, It might have been the year before. I feel like I know I posted it on Facebook because everyone was like, "You were such a little weirdo. You have not changed since you were a child." Well, whatever. But I just woke up and I had this feeling. I wanted a particular environment, and it was like 115 degrees. Just, I was sick of it. We'd had multiple 100+ days in a row, and ugh. And I just woke up and I just walked through the house and I shut every blind. Usually I'm opening the blinds up every day, but I shut all the blinds because I didn't want one teeny little sunbeam to get in my house. And then I just turned the air conditioner down real low. And then I lit candles all over and I lit my little fireplace. I just didn't put the heat part of it on. And I built a fort in my living room and I made snacks for myself and I pretended like it was a blizzard outside and I was cozy inside having a snow day in the middle of summer. That's the kind of day I'd want to make chili on. I don't know. I gotta do something. I don't like summertime. I remember even as a little girl, I did not like playing outside in the summer. I didn't mind being outside in the fall and the spring and stuff. That was perfectly fine. I could play out in the woods forever. But when it was 100 and something degrees, I hated it. And I remember I lived in Arkansas, but we had family in Oklahoma. And we would come up here to visit. And I was probably like 10, 11. And I had my little brother and then my cousins. They were all a little bit younger than me. But we'd get where we were going to be. And I would just take my book and I would just go someplace in a corner where maybe I would not be noticed, but it would just never fail that the other kids would start acting up and they'd be like, "Okay, children, it's time for y'all to go outside and play." And I would just pretend like I was not a part of that. They never let me get away with it. They'd be like, "That means you too, Brandy." Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm being quiet and good. I'm just reading my book. That was what I liked to do in the summer, was be in the air conditioning, reading. Make me go out there in that hot. I wonder how far I've gotten on this. I have not been counting anything. Probably not as far as I think I should have gotten because, no. Oh my gosh. I gotta get, I'm here. I gotta get to here. That's how much more I gotta get done today. I already did them. I already counted the stitches. And that'll put me, what have I gotta do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. 21 more rows. And I'll be completely, and these are little rows because on the second half of the half and half triangle, like on the first half, your rows start out really long and they get shorter and shorter and shorter. But on the second half, your rows start out with just one stitch and then they go to 2 and then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And I think right now mine are about 45. Yeah, that should be right because I knew I had to get to stitch number 67 today. So I'm probably on about 45 or so. Maybe 50. No, I said 21 stitches, so 44. Anyway, well, I think I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to go slice up my organic apples. That's where I got myself lost. I forgot what I was saying. I saw people making, and they sound good to me. And I've seen them in the Amish. Is it the Amish or the German? I don't know. There was a maker a food maker. I always am interested in the Amish foods and then the German foods. One of those people had a traditional fermented apples. And I've watched several people make them, and then they describe how they taste, and they sound like they're right up my alley. Um, after trying, now that I've tried the blueberries, because before I'd have been like, well, that doesn't sound like salt on fruit. Doesn't sound. I mean, it can be good. You know what I mean? It sounds weird. It doesn't make them pickled. We're not using vinegar here, but you do got to use a salty brine to ferment. Anyways, though, they just take the apples and slice them up and put them in the jar. And then a lot of people will throw in a little bit of cinnamon, clove. Some people, one lady was throwing in a little bit of pumpkin spice. You can put whatever you want in it, and then you put in your salt, and then you cover it with water, and then so on and so forth. And most people agree that about 3 days is really great. So I'm just having a good fun time growing cooties in my kitchen to help my guts. And I'm trying to find more different varieties of cooties. And it does make a huge difference in my tummy. My tummy was just being so distended looking. And I'm not very big. I mean, it's not like fat. Right now, my tummy is kind of distended from all this creepy food that I've been eating. But I mean, I weigh maybe 105 pounds. I'm not a big lady. But my gut was looking so fat. And when I started getting back into eating all my healthy foods again, my gut just got flat again. It was very nice. And then I quit for a while. So I'm like, I need to get my tummy back in good order. And I did have to have a surgery last year, and I was on all kinds of antibiotics, and that of course never helps. So um, I'll eventually finish mine. You will. You will finish it when you're wanting to work on it, and you'll get it done, and then you'll have it. That's how it goes, right? This isn't a quick project. I mean, I'm trying to do mine quick because I do want to have it done because I want to show it to everybody. I want to show you guys, look, I did the cowl that I hosted, and I finished my own cowl that I hosted on the timetable that I, showed that y'all could do it. So that's really why I'm sticking with it like I am, because if it wasn't for that, I probably would have set mine aside, because I had initially wanted to get my mom's blanket done. I don't know what I was thinking. I just cast that thing on not too long ago, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get this done and give it to her for Mother's Day. No, that is not happening. Not unless I want to give her a little tiny baby blanket size blanket. I mean, it's not going to be a queen size bed blanket. It's going to be like this size, like my half and halves. Which is a nice little take it to the movie theater, sit on the couch with it size. Um, but that's still a lot of knitting when you're using, fingering. That the good wool is they call it like a sport. So I mean, it's not a whole lot bigger than a fingering weight. Um, I'm knitting it on the needle size that she calls for fingering because it's pretty close to the same. Don't forget to add your email. Yes, I'm going to do. Oh, wow. So how many do you know what which wrap you got to, Donna? Like what number? I did a session yesterday, and that's going to be on my video that I'm going to post for you guys. Like I say, it might be Thursday. I might get it up tomorrow. I'll have to do some editing on it. But I did a time lapse video for you guys, and it was hilarious. after all the work that I put in on this thing, I just could not believe it. So I was like, well, I'm making a full length video with this time lapse because that was just too funny. Halfway, you think? Okay. Sometimes when I'm thinking about these guys, because I was like, after I got started on this, I was like, Brandy, how many times it really does take a 2 and a bit skeins of fingering weight yarn per side. And now that I'm doing just a solid color, I will literally go through 2 and a bit skeins. And I'm like, how many times have you knitted up a skeins worth of yarn, fingering weight yarn, in a very short period of time? Lots of times I have knit through just a little, one skein project, get it done in a few days. I'm like, why is it different with this? It's 2 skeins and just a little bit more for one triangle. But it feels like more. I don't know why, because I have cast on a Linus shawl. I've knocked out a Linus shawl in a few days. That's a 1 skein project. Oh, well, but still, that's a half. That's a quarter. You're a quarter of the way. But that's when you're adding in. See, but so you're probably, yeah, I guess so, 50 grams, because you figure it's like 2. I feel like probably each triangle is taken, I don't know. I use very little of that 3rd skein. Probably maybe 25 grams. So let's call it 225. So if it's 50, that's probably 100 because you're just adding that in intermittently, right? I'll get a count. Sorry, Donna, for asking you all these questions. Um, anyway, it's not a contest, and it's like I said, it's not a contract. We're just having fun here. I'm just trying to get mine done because I'm the host and I wanted to show off my work at the end, but I really do want to wear the darn thing. But if I wasn't trying to get it done on time, I would have spent more time working on my mom's, and I would have finished my other one that's almost done. It's almost done, but I just haven't. 126. So yeah, 126 out of 260. So you're halfway. You're halfway. And the rows are getting short, and you're more than halfway on that side because that half that you just finished was the highest stitch count on this triangle. It's going down 1 now, so you're really like 3/4 of the way. Think of that. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna make myself do something productive. I already took care of my garden today. I have taken care of all the little creatures that I needed to take care of. All the big chores are done. It's just cook dinner tonight. That's all we have to do, right? But I want to play I want to play in my science lab kitchen. You are, Donna. You're not going to know. Did you guys know? I feel like people are just like, why is she always got that thing? Probably people don't even know what it is most of the times. And it needs to be de-peeled so bad. My cats love it, and I'm sure some people would just cringe. But I made this because I wanted to use the darn thing. I'm not treating it like something that's precious. It's always here with me, and I love it. It's my most favorite item I've ever knit. And that seems so silly because I've certainly knit things that are far more glorious and beautiful and precious than this half and half. But it's so versatile, and it is just, it's going to be 100 degrees. It's still going to be sitting here on my chair because I like to cover up with it. And if I get a little cold in the morning, I'll throw it around my shoulders while I go make my tea and shuffle around the house like a little old biddy. And I love it. All right, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. I hope that you all have a great day. I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. And like I say, anytime if you ever want to share pictures of the things you're making, you're always welcome to do so in the community post. I love pictures. So y'all have a good one. It was very good seeing you. Oh, see, I am in my, they're not really pajamas, but they are loungy clothes. All right, guys, y'all take care. And I'll have another video, a funny video, a time-lapse video of me looking real crazy here in the next day or two. And I'm going to do that scarf. I'm remembering. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down and remember to put up at least like a tutorial. It may not be like a tutorial where I sit there and walk you through everything, but I will at least give you the idea of it's so simple. It's nothing hard. So we'll get that done too. We're going to work on that this week. All right. You guys take care, and I will see you next time. Bye.